like to invite Anil Chopra, Vice President, Research and Consulting CyberMedia Research, to share his views and insights on ICT market analysis India 2047. Anil has a knack for spotting the latest technology trend and has conducted many path-breaking market studies, technology priorities, and technology implementations across enterprises in India. He has also benchmarked and tested a wide variety of IT products and services during his stint with CyberMedia Labs, the country's first vendor-neutral product testing facility. May I welcome Anil Chopra.
Good morning. Thanks, Sam, and thank you all for joining us today for this session. I think DQ has completed 40 years. We're now in the 42nd year. It has been recording all the key events that have happened in the ICT industry, which is interesting. And, it's on the foundation of what has happened in the past that, we determine what's going to happen in the future, based on what's happened in the past, based on what's happening today, we decide that. And I think last couple of years has been a roller coaster ride for everyone. The pandemic, then the wars that are happening, the entire meltdown of Silicon Valley Bank, for example, they've all kind of helped us. While they've had their impact, they've also been giving us many opportunities, right? Pandemic, for example, gave us hybrid work. We all are able to work from anywhere now, right? It increased cloud adoption, right? It disrupted the global supply chain, and as a result, dependency on China reduced and gave India an opportunity to become the manufacturing hub. So many such things really happened, which have kind of translated into giving technology an opportunity to move forward and advance and evolve. So that all this has been actually good for India because the Indian economy has remained very strong, right? It has been growing, and apparently, from being the 10th largest economy, it's become the 5th largest economy. We have the youngest working population. We have a very strong foundation of a digital infrastructure in terms of UPI and Aadhaar. We're seeing, I think, UPI being taken to various countries also. So, India has been shining. And of course, NASSCOM figures on some of the industry data in terms of the ICT industry, which has grown both in terms of software exports as well as the domestic consumption. The workforce has actually been growing. So a whole lot of things have happened in the past and continue to happen. There's a lot of developments that are happening which are good for India. And it is likely to make India the innovation hub of the world. So now the question, of course, is where is really computing really heading, which is what we were supposed to discuss, right? Where is it all really heading? So one, of course, is to look at some of the market predictions in terms of the research that we do. Like here's the research that CMR had done in terms of what are the top focus areas throughout the years. But rather than focusing on some of the research in terms of where technology is heading, I thought I picked up some key things that are happening around us today and how they're actually leading to various other technology trends that are taking place today. So I'm going to try to relate it to all of that. Okay. I think the first thing is that look at the amount of data that is being generated, right? We are going to touch 175 zettabytes of data by next year, and this trend started 10 years ago, okay? Because, and 1 zettabyte, anybody knows what is 1 zettabyte? Anybody? Sorry? Yeah, 1 billion terabytes. That's the kind of volume of data that we're talking about over here, right? That is the kind of data that is being generated, and moreover, 75% of it is outside of our corporate data center that that is being managed by companies. That's where it's all being generated. It's at the edge, by smartphones, by all the IoT devices, and so on and so forth, right? So this data growth is what's really leading to the other technology trends, right? Where we hear about AI so much. Everyone is talking about AI. But for AI, the fuel is all data, right? Ultimately, it cannot work unless and until it is fed with lots and lots of data. So you need to have the right data architecture in place to be able to leverage AI properly. And of course, the sources of that data, mobility, various mobile devices, industrial IoT. Apparently, we're going to have some 50 million industrial IoT devices by next year. That's the kind of prediction that is there in the growth in terms of IoT devices. So it's this growth in data that is fueling many of the other trends that we are kind of seeing taking shape today. The other big trend, so of course, here are some of the other use cases, again, based on some of the studies that we have done on currently what people are really looking at in terms of, leveraging AI for different functions. Customer service, of course, remains as a topmost use case for AI currently, followed by marketing and sales and, predictive maintenance in industries and HR. A lot of recruitment nowadays is done automated by AI in terms of identifying resumes, shortlisting them, and so on and so forth. So it's being leveraged there, and of course, cybersecurity. So, it deserves a mention because AI is currently the theme of the flavor of the season, and really, really hot. The other is about the cloud, right? I think the cloud market is growing tremendously. I mean, the pandemic increased the adoption of the cloud, and it continues to grow and expected to grow tremendously and even contribute to India's GDP considerably. Okay, but the trends that are actually fueling the growth in the cloud, one, of course, it is ubiquitous, right? It is eventually going to become ubiquitous. It is all over the place. Everyone's going to be using the cloud. A lot of applications, workloads that enterprises are working on are shifting to the cloud. Again, some figures suggest that it has moved from 40% last year to expected to reach 57% this year. That is the kind of workload movement we're talking about, and that, of course, is going to continue moving forward. But in order to move to the cloud, a lot of app modernization will be required. And when we talk about app modernization, that's where we have technologies like containerization or microservices or DevOps, all those kind of technology areas are going to develop and become hot because people want to move their applications to the cloud, and they need all the technologies to enable them to do that. All the innovations in AI, cloud is the base, because the kind of compute power that is required may not be available on-prem, so you have to rely on compute resources on the cloud in order to be able to train the models, work on the models, run all the algorithms, and so on and so forth, which is very, very compute intensive. Of course, along with the cloud, you need edge devices also, because that's from where the data is going to be generated and fed. But that is creating another trend. It's not just about data that is being sent to the cloud from the edge, but actually computing happening locally also at the edge, which is where the intelligent edge comes in, right? You'll have intelligent edge devices that are going to develop an entire ecosystem. But what's required is an interoperability between the edge and the cloud, and you'll have edge data centers also that are going to emerge from this, that are emerging from this, so that they can be nearer to the edge devices, and whatever data processing is required to some extent can actually happen in the cloud as well. So again, cloud is fueling all these trends moving forward. We're going to see more and more of it happening. Cloud is going to become ubiquitous, and a lot of technologies around it are going to be leveraging the cloud, and both will feed into each other to kind of grow. Of course, the base of it all is the internet, right? Ultimately, the growth in the number of internet users, we will have 900 million internet users by next year. And now what's more important is, rather than just using the internet for information access, it's being used for business, right? So we're going to see the economy grow by 6%, the internet economy, to $1 trillion by 2030. That's the kind of trend that is being predicted as far as the internet is concerned. But again, what's really fueling this growth in the internet? Couple of technologies here. Web 3.0, which was very, very hot maybe one or 2 years ago. Everyone talked about it as it was a talk of the town, and so on and so forth. But I guess it was overshadowed by AI this year. but that doesn't mean that development is not happening in this space. Web 3.0, which is the next internet, is really developing. It's all about having decentralized internet, which is more focused on user privacy, which is more focused on user experience. So a lot of technologies are developing beyond the metaverse in the Web 3.0 space. It is about decentralized finance using blockchain. It is about we heard about NFTs, right? Non-fungible tokens that became one of the key aspects of Web 3.0. So we're going to have utility NFTs. There's a development happening on that, where you can use NFTs for beyond just buying them for art and so on and so forth. So that Web 3.0 and a lot of technologies that are going to develop in this space. So expect a lot more action in this space. The other, of course, is e-commerce. Again, we are expected to become the second largest e-commerce player in the next couple of years. That's the kind of growth that we're talking about, all banking on connectivity and the internet. And of course, there's going to be Web 3.0 based technologies like AR and VR are also going to be used by the e-commerce players for enhancing the customer experience. So, and social commerce, because there's a growth happening in that area also. So e-commerce again is fueling the growth of the internet, which is further leveraging a lot of other technologies to kind of, to grow. And of course, smart cities, there's a mission for 100 smart cities that will require connectivity of all the key critical assets and services in a city. They'll require an internet base to be able to connect to each other, to pass on the data that can be used for analysis and so on and so forth. So, again, growth in the internet is being fueled by a lot of other technologies, which will help each other kind of grow. That's what's happening as far as the internet is concerned. Now, of course, that's all the good thing that we're seeing in terms of increase in the level of digitization, increase in the number of technologies in helping India become a digital superpower and so on and so forth. But there's another interesting trend that we have to watch out for, and that is security, right? Just as we are growing and becoming a superpower, we're moving up the ranks there. We're also moving up in the ranks as the most breached country in the world. We became the 5th most breached country globally last year, and we moved up 2 notches in ranks, which is of course not a good thing. So that is something that we have to watch out for. Security becomes extremely critical. 5.3 million accounts that were leaked is not a joke. And average cost being 17 crores for a data breach. That is the kind of figure that we're talking about over here, right? So I'm not going to put any sub-trends in this because it's a very, very vast space. Instead, what I'll talk about is that what's really happening moving forward in this, it deserves a separate mention, because just as AI is powering a lot of applications, the bad guys are also using AI to power many of their hacks and attacks, right? So the humble phishing attacks, which have been the highest type of attacks that have happened and have kind of been used to steal all the data, they're going to get a boost with AI. So just a simple example. Today, it's very easy for a slightly IT savvy user to recognize a phishing scam by reading the English, right? Because these guys may be good in scams, but they may not be good in English. So you can identify grammar and bad language and all that and say, hey, this is a scam, this is not real. But Gen AI is going to take care of all of that. So expect really finely crafted messages from genuine users to land in your mailbox as a phishing scam. So that's how it's really going to make scams far more serious. Deepfake, which was in the news last year. I mean, here's some news on the right. I said, where there's a CFO in Hong Kong who came on a video call along with his colleagues and asked an employee to transfer some $25 million. And apparently the CFO and all his colleagues were all deepfakes. They were not real. And they kind of took the money from the company of $25 million. They swindled $25 million. And likewise, a woman loses 1.4 lakhs to an AI voice scam in India. Another person loses some 40,000. So basically, they get an AI-based video call, which is a deepfake. So right now, it's easy to recognize deepfakes, by somebody who's a little more alert and aware. But gradually, even that is going to change. because there's a lot of advancement happening in deepfakes, and they'll become almost impossible to detect. So this wonderful technology called video-based KYC that we used to use for opening a bank account from the comfort of our homes, well, it's a ticking time bomb, because if deepfake technology becomes better and better, who knows that somebody could actually start opening fake bank accounts using this technology. Apparently, there was some service on the web that is selling deepfake for as little as 8 rupees. That is the kind of thing that we're talking about. That's the seriousness of this. And all those, when I talked about the cloud trend, where we said that, you're going to use cloud for all the AI training models and all that. Now imagine if the bad actor kind of infiltrates that training model and makes it do what he wants to, poisons it with all the Java code and so on and so forth. So there goes your training model giving the results that the hacker wants and not you want, and that can be devastating. Okay, so data poisoning of all the training models is another security trend that is likely to happen. Okay, so AI-based powered attacks is a key threat that we're going to see, and they've been happening. We saw them grow 10x deepfake attacks last year. Expect a lot more of it in the coming years. Will be more difficult to detect. It can actually ruin a company's reputation and credibility, bring down a company very easily. Deepfake powered news saying bad things about a customer, deepfake video of an executive talking bad things about a customer. It can manipulate stocks and so on and so forth. So a whole lot of things can happen, can be done by deepfakes. All the biometric authentication, whether it's video or audio, deepfake can clone them. So there goes your biometric authentication, which is supposed to be a key thing, to passwords, alternative to passwords. But deepfakes can take care of that. So security is a huge, huge concern. It needs to be, tackled. We have to watch out this trend as well, while we're kind of building our infrastructure on the, for the next level, taking it to the next level. So something to watch out for. Sustainability, another thing that has been in the news, very, very critical. I think the amount of global carbon footprint that we're having is increasing. The contribution by ICT industry has grown like anything. The energy consumption is growing. Apparently, another thing to worry about is that all the machines that we're buying, the humble desktop, for instance, it emits some 132 kg of CO2 per year. That's the kind of thing we're talking about. So when we are buying, of course, we need to be careful about what sort of sustainability practices are vendors following in their IT equipment, right from the manufacturing up to the supply chain that they use to deliver the products to you, because that's a concern. There's a lot of carbon emission that is happening there as well. The desktop that I talked about, out of this 132 kg, apparently according to this Green Software Foundation, 90 kg is carbon is emitted during the manufacturing of the PC itself. That's the kind of thing we're talking about here. So sustainability practices will become important moving forward. It is a growing concern. It is a concern for all of us. Okay, there are policies that are being framed, by the government also. Like apparently there was a SEBI circular that made audits of, bringing sustainability audits mandatory for the top 1,000 companies. So that adds to the lot of work that companies have to do. They have to modify their procurement policies to include sustainability clauses. That becomes extremely important. So that scope has to be revised in the procurement policies. And of course, it has its own benefits also, right? So for example, any initiatives that are done, sustainability, they can help increase the revenue. They can actually improve the products, because even the customers who are buying those products are becoming more and more conscious. They would like to buy products that have been built using sustainability practices. So it's a positive thing to kind of align whatever practices that are being followed with sustainability, right? In terms of choosing the IT equipment, in terms of products that you're selling. So it's a very, very critical trend moving forward for the ICT industry, and of course the overall industry in general. Something to really watch out for. So these are the broad themes I talked about. I said rather than talk about individual technologies, I thought I'll talk about what is the base for those technologies, right? So on the left are all the technologies, right is all the digital initiatives, digital transformation initiatives and investments. Connectivity will become important. Technologies like 5G that can increase the speed of connectivity between various IT services, and of course cybersecurity. So if I were to look at that, how the IT infrastructure, will look like moving forward. One, of course, is that you have the hybrid multi-cloud infrastructure in the center. You have mission critical apps in your data center. You have an intelligent edge, and of course, you have the internet and all the connectivity technologies that are kind of binding them together. Uh, this is going to be the core. Around that, you're going to have all your digital innovations. You'll have the entire connectivity that is going to happen at scale. And of course, cybersecurity that kind of encompasses the entire thing. You have to make sure that the whole thing is kind of safe and secure. So that's what I feel that IT infrastructure is going to evolve as. It's extremely difficult to say what's going to happen in 2047. In IT industry, it's difficult to say what will happen in the next 6 months. But 2047, God knows what will really happen that way. But yeah, it's good to kind of look at what's likely to happen in the future. I feel it's important to look at it from what are the things that are happening right now. That is the best thing to help you judge what's going to happen in the future. So what's going to happen to the CIO? No longer Chief Information Officer, but Chief Insights Officer, because he's no longer handling the IT infrastructure, right? He has to handle a lot of other things. He has to handle global, the risk and compliance. He has to look at security. He has to look at modernization of the IT infrastructure, strategic business initiatives, so many things he has to look at beyond just ICT. So the role expands considerably, given that there are so many other aspects to really consider. So, that's how I think the role is going to evolve as far as the people who are managing the IT infrastructure is concerned. And IT infrastructure is evolving based on some of these trends. That's all I had to say. Thank you so much. I hope it was useful.